Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech. Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine Crypto. I'm not sure why there's duplicate streams when I changed everything and chose the correct one. Very strange indeed. Very strange indeed. Not sure what is going on. So, yeah, we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. I'm confused as confused can be, but who cares? Crypto is green. We're moving sideways on Bitcoin. But you can see XRP is deep in the 6% up, $2.20. We got a few others in the deep green, but mostly green across the board. Nothing too crazy. FTM Phantom in the deep greens. What else we got down here? Jupiter, Fartcoin. I heard a couple of my friends did good on Phantom, or excuse me, on Fartcoin. Pengu popping off. It's up 21%. If we look at the chart and see what happened over the past 7 days, it's just been steadily climbing up. Past month, it climbed up to almost its short-term high, but nowhere near its all-time high. You know what I mean? So we'll see if it gets back to 4 cents. But still, popping off. It's just, I don't think altcoin season is fully here yet. We're going to talk about that. I think it's going to be a minute before we get there. We'll see how things go. We're just chopping sideways. I mean, this week has been good, right? Considering all the red we've been getting on the daily, ending last week. This is the last week of June going into July, and you could see basically, you know, Monday was really good to us. Tuesday, Wednesday, pulled back a little bit Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're just chilling, right? We're just chilling. Can we get enough momentum or strength to push up and break this pink line that I have here? I'm hoping to see that. But the problem is sustaining it. Not only can we need to break it, but we need to sustain it. So we'll see what's going on and try to push up to the all-time high. It's not too far off, but if we keep on just chilling here, you know, it's very likely that we're going to pull back again, which is what I don't want. I definitely want us to push ahead. It's only 4%, 4.3%, 36%, sorry. till the all-time high. It's doable, but if we just chill here for too long, we could pull back and 105, 104, 101, 100K, and then way down here 94K. It would be a 12% drop. We'll see how things pan out, but we need Bitcoin to, if it sustains, this is usually the best time for altcoins to catch up. But if it doesn't, if it just sits here, I feel like we're sitting in no man's land, which is not good. Like, we don't want to sit there too long, and either push up or come back down a little bit, retrace, and then go back up. We'll see how things pan out. So I've got some articles for you, but Geek of All Trades, I just want to read this to you real quick. Says they're feeling cute, might drop a ban on Micro Center later. Would be nice if we had a Micro Center here. Unfortunately, where I live here in North Florida, we do not have a Micro Center. So I hope you find what you're looking for out there. Good luck to you. And sorry for everybody who came over from Crypto Mikkel's stream that got juked out by the duplicate stream. I'm not sure why I had a duplicate stream. But anyways, moving on to news, because I got to get out of here at exactly 12 o'clock. Bigger Bitcoin HODL, time for 10% to 40% of portfolio in crypto, says financial advisor Rick Edman, who's an influencer, I guess you could say. Influential financial advisor. Issued a call to hold anywhere from 10 to 40% of investor portfolio. So it's hold Bitcoin, make Bitcoin 10 to 40% of your investment portfolio. Personally, for me, I don't think it's anywhere near those numbers. I would like it to be 40%, 30%, but I don't have the money to just keep doing that. I would love to, and I hope one day maybe I could get there, but I don't know. That's a tall order. But if everybody could just get some Bitcoin, even if it's 1% of their portfolio, 5% of their portfolio, 10%, I think they would like the move that they made later on in the future, right? This isn't a short-term like get rich quick scheme. This is something that you're building for the future. They also add here that Edelman, who heads the digital asset council for financial advisors, has been saying for some time that the traditional 60-40% of stocks and bonds is outdated because people are living too long for it to work. I mean, hence the reason why there's some concerns about retirements for various countries, including the U.S., and whether or not, Social Security or even their retirements are even going to be there. Who's managing the 401ks? Remember, companies have lost their employees' 401ks because of bad decision making. Teachers unions, corporations, whatever it might be. So yeah, if you can manage your own assets instead of relying on a centralized entity to store your crypto, I would highly suggest doing that. But you need to be vigilant and not losing the hardware wallet, not losing the private keys, not losing whatever, falling for phishing scams, because they are getting more and more prevalent. In his The Truth About Crypto book in 2021, Edelman said as low as 1% allocation was reasonable. A lot has changed this week. Edelman said to just what we were just talking about, updating it from 1% to 10 to 40. Today, I'm saying that 40%, that's astonishing. No one has ever said such a thing. To make Bitcoin 40% of their portfolio is new. I'm sure like our crypto influencer crew, both miners and non-miners, have been urging their audience to get a significant percentage. Not financial advisors, right? But now this is a financial advisor saying to do so. The evolution of crypto in the past 4 years has grown. It's profound. It's a completely different era. It's a completely different environment. Today, all those questions have been resolved. It's radically changed, and now it's mainstream asset, right? With all the ETFs and all the mainstream adoption from centralized entities, from government entities, from well-known financial institutions, so on and so forth. So adding and increasing your portfolio is not bad. It's not a bad decision, even though I'm not providing financial advice. I'm reading to you a financial advisor's recommendations. It's just that, recommendations. You got to do what's best for you, your household, and stuff like that. Sometimes you might have, let's say you have 40% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, but you're hitting a tough patch, and now you have to liquidate some of that Bitcoin in order to pay for whatever the issues you're going through. I completely understand that. But if you can reaccumulate dollar cost average and just keep that trend going, in the long term, it can be quite beneficial. I've been preaching that for a while, not providing as financial advice, but just providing it as like, this is a good alternative to relying on your bank, relying on your company to develop your 401ks, your IRAs, or whatever, and for you to have a hand on the steering wheel and decide the direction you need to go for your long-term well-being, whether that's retirement or you want to retire early or whatever it might be. So the title of today's video, Bitcoin HODL Gang strong. HODL Gang strong. I know there's been some weak hands, as we can see looking at the chart, that have left chat, right? We had some major pullbacks, after the December 2024 hype, right? We had some pretty decent pullbacks. We moved into 2025, pulled back even further. Matter of fact, let's measure that pullback from the high of January 21st all the way to the low of April 25th. That's a 31% pullback. That's significant, right? That's a number of sellers, a number of people taking profits. The Germany government selling all their Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So they left chat. Maybe they got back in. Maybe they did some good moves and they bought, they sold here in February, but they got back in April. We'll see. Obviously, they're up right now, so a couple people are taking profits. Not a couple people, quite a few people are taking profits, because that's significant volume to make that move like that. That's significant volume. But yeah, people are hodling, right? And if we zoom out, right, this is the daily. If we zoom out, look at the volume back here in 2022 compared to the volume of today. Like, the volume of today is minuscule compared to the volume of 2022, or even the volume of 2020, or even the volume spikes in 2018. 2017, we're right at that 2017 volume. Like, it was very low, lower than where we are today, and then started spiking up as we were marching towards an all-time high of around 20K back in 2017. But we're basically, what I feel like, and I could be completely wrong, it's complete speculation on my part, I feel like we're in 2017 volume territory. So what I mean by that is, I expect the volume to increase over time, and just like in 2017, we should have a nice push up. How long would that run sustain? Nobody can tell you the truth, or nobody can predict that. But yeah, HODL gang, stay strong, dollar cost average, and do what's best for you. Bitcoin prices don't move in sync with stocks or bonds or gold or oil or commodities. I mean, it feels like the stock market to me has been, and Bitcoin have been very correlated, right? Every time the stock markets take a hit, Bitcoin takes a hit, vice versa. So we'll see. The crypto asset class offer the opportunity for higher returns than you're likely to get in virtually any other asset. And I would agree with that too. So yeah, just one excerpt from a financial investor coming out of their words, not mine. Bitcoin price holds range, but needs fresh demand to break higher. I agree with that, right? Like I said, we're in no man's land right now. We need to break higher. Good morning, Automatic Beats, Crypto Pounder 4. Appreciate you, Jay Bohannon. And for the few of you that are watching, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to get rock and rolling as quickly as possible. I need to get out of here by 12. Got some things I need to do. Got to go buy 2 shots to get some work done. Stay tuned for updates on that on the side. But yeah, we're consolidating within a descending channel, but weak on-chain activity suggests a lack of momentum. Rising core inflation data of 2.7% and sticky price growth reduce the likelihood of Fed rate cuts, maintaining pressure on Bitcoin and risk assets, right? So we're hoping that in July, I forgot the exact date, but it's the end of July, that the Fed will cut rates. That's what we're hoping. There's even a website to where you could see what the percentage of people think that we're going to have a rate cut or a pause or a hike or whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be a hike. It's either going to be a pause or a cut. A cut would be beneficial. A pause, I think we're just going to continue to move sideways with stocks and stuff like that. Yep, and that's what I got to go work on, Rizzo. So stay tuned for updates on the channel from that, or my X / Instagram. Instagram, by the way, is CMVJax. So it's Charlie, Michael, Vega, and my first name's obviously not Charlie, but I'm giving you the phonetic alphabet. J is Juliet, Alpha, X-ray, CMVJax. All right, according to Glassnode, 28.6 million and long positions and 25.2 million in shorts were liquidated within 24 hours, reflecting a rare dual-sided flush that caught leverage traders off guard and underlined the rapid shift in market sentiment. Now, this article came out in about 14 hours ago. Bitcoin dominated. Open interest dropped by 7%, falling to 334,000 from 360. There's a sharp decline points to a temporary clearing of speculative leverage, suggesting that the market is in a reset phase. All right, while Bitcoin remains between 100 and 110, BTC on-chain activity shows signs of cooling, right? It's not as active as one might hope or would like the markets to be. Profitability metrics are fading, and user participation remains subdued, right? Everybody's just sitting sidelines, right? This is the problem with like meme coins and altcoins when people get into it, is everybody just goes and grabs a big bag and diamond hands, right? And hodls. But then there's nobody to help lift the currency. With Bitcoin, it's a little bit different, right? Because there's so many different active users. There's not as many, it's not as active right now because everybody's chilling on the sidelines, but there's still activity going on, whether it's the ETFs or a centralized entity buying up this or some major corporation buying up that, so on and so forth. So yeah, everybody's like, all right, are we gonna go to the New York time high, 125K, 130K, 140K, right? And remember, keep that number in your head. Where's the number that you're going to take profits at, right? Whether it's 10% of your portfolio, 25% of that asset, 30%, 100%, like get those numbers locked in, so that way when it does happen, you're not sitting like, oh, you know, should I sell? And then you miss it because you were trying to time the top. Don't do that. You know, just get a number in your head and say, if it gets to this, I'm going to go ahead and sell 10% or whatever you want. From a technical perspective, Bitcoin's failure to sweep external liquidity near 109K has led to gradually grinding lower over the 4-hour chart. The current price action remains confined between the descending channel and a key area of interest between 103.4 and 104.6. The zone aligns with a daily fair value gap, or FVG, and is supported by the 200-day exponential moving average, raising the potential for a bounce, right? So looking at the chart, expecting a bounce. Could we, you know, again, no man's land. Monday starts, we start to fall back, right? And then later this week, we start to bounce upwards, a little chop upwards. And maybe the second, not this week, but the second week of July is where we start to push upwards. Maybe it could be this week. That would be very nice. But we'll see how things go. Just don't I don't know how to say this. Don't sit on the sidelines so much that you miss everything, you know, but be aware. I got alerts set up on my phone. You know, when alerts happen, I look at the chart, see what's going on, and I get back to work. I don't sit there and stare at the chart 24/7. I'm not a day trader, and I don't think many of you have the time to do that either. But, you know, if you have these alerts set up, you can get the notification, and then you can make your adjustments accordingly. Considering Bitcoin collects internal liquidity within its range, a bullish breakout above the descending channel to new highs remains a plausible scenario. However, until momentum builds and on-chain activity revives, the broader market structure could stay in a consolidation mode, which is what I was saying. Like, we're stuck in no man's land, and that could be problematic if we stay too long. Right? A lack of bullish follow-through could mean that the bearish momentum may persist in the coming week, despite recent positive chatter around the potential interest of rate cut. The latest inflation data suggests that the Federal Reserve has little reason to shift its stance, right? So while July might be a green-ish month, keyword might, you know, unless the Fed does cut rates, we might just continue to consolidate. And then maybe August, but August historically, as we saw in last week's episode of Caffeine Crypto, by the way, I do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. August is notoriously a red month, so we'll have to see. It's usually when we get towards the later end of you know, like Q4 2024, we start to push up, pull back a little bit after, you know, Christmas, because everybody's taking profits, paying their bills. But Q4 could be really good. All right, that's why some people are still believing in 125,000, 130,000, 150,000. Some people calling for $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. So we'll see. With price growth showing signs of stickiness, the Fed is likely to remain in its rate pause, keeping financial conditions tight, which is unfavorable for Bitcoin. Glassnode data further supports the cautious outlook showing a minor 7.7 billion increase in spot volume during Q2. Transfer volume dropped 36% earlier in the quarter, highlighting the lack of speculative urgency. All right, so we need those people on the sidelines to step in the game and help push up, get some trading going, so on and so forth. 5 macro trends likely to send Bitcoin and XRP skyrocketing in 2026. I love how the altcoins try to piggyback on Bitcoin, but still, let's go over the 5 macro trends. One is liquidity is rising again. Since mid-2024, the total combined assets of the Fed Reserve and the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan have ticked higher for multiple quarters in a row. 3, the Fed is lining up to cut rates. While it may not be in July, it could be in August, September. But that's a big one. 3, a weaker dollar opens the door for foreign buyers, right? The US dollar is showing, or the dollar index is down roughly 8% so far in 2025 as worries over trade tensions and federal deficits mount. And of course, we got some more news about trade and yada yada this past week. Not going to comment on it. I'll let you guys do that. But yeah, a weaker dollar means the global investors need fewer units of their local currency to buy the dollar-dominated Bitcoin or XRP, which could be affecting the juicing of the demand. So a weakening dollar does open the door for foreign currencies, but I think the government's trying to kind of prop up the U.S. dollar. So we'll see how that plan works out by utilizing Bitcoin and getting that treasury going. But number 4, bond yields are drifting lower. They are drifting lower, but that sucker was sticky as heck for a while, sitting at 4.5, 4.7. And number 5, real incomes are climbing when people have more disposable income. I don't know about you, but my income is not climbing. Let me know in the comments or in the live chat, are you getting paid more than you were 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I mean, I hope we all get raises, but the raises that I'm getting is not enough to keep up with the cost of living, right? For example, property taxes went up $200. The renewal of your driver's tag or your driver's plate went up. Like, everything's going up, but the small, like, 10 cent, 25 cent raises don't cut it anymore. And companies are still trying to do that, which is why I'm having to hustle so much outside of my normal 9 to 5. But if I don't maintain my 9 to 5, then I can't maintain this channel. And I've been working so hard to maintain this channel as best I can. So don't forget, if you bump into a video, if you could just like it and share it, that would be greatly appreciated and will help the channel. Moving on, forest fire, corporate America's Bitcoin buying spree fuels concern. What kind of concerns, right? So in the latest sign of how DJT election has changed the perception of digital assets in the industry, dozens of companies have begun pouring billions of dollars into Bitcoin, creating so-called crypto treasuries. The emerging trend was underscored recently when DJT's own social media company, Trump Media Technology Group, unveiled plans to raise about $2.5 billion on Bitcoin. The gambit of selling stock and debt to buy Bitcoin is helping to turbocharge the company's shares as crypto prices soar. Yet critics warn that hoovering up digital assets could backfire whenever the volatile crypto markets take a turn for the worse, and some fear that the rush of corporate investors present a risk to crypto itself that could feed into a panic during the market's next sell-off. That's understandable. It's a lot of kindling being built up, said Nick Carter. There's going to be a forest fire, and it's going to be catastrophic, right? So when we have a major dip, let's say the 2017, 2018 bear market, right? You're going to have a lot of corporate parties just dumping, right? And that's going to make the drop that much harder. Now, granted, maybe those companies are smart and they're doing a good mix in their portfolios to where it's not going to, they won't sell. Even though the market's going catastrophic, it's the barest of bears. They're not going to sell. They're going to continue to hodl for the long term. But yeah, I can see why that would be a concern. I want the people, right? You, the viewer, mom, pops, grandpas, uncles, aunties, even little ones, right? Whether you mine it or you obtain it through dollar cost average, or you buy $1,000 and then transfer it to your, put it in a crypto wallet for your little nephew or niece or whatever. Like, I want it in the hands of you, the people, not the hands of the centralized entities, the bankers, the wealthy. And it's already too late, right? The bankers, the wealthy, they're gobbling this shit up, right? The centralized entities, they're hoovering up as much as possible, which is what this article's about. But if we have more in the hands of the people, and yes, companies are still having their hands on quite a few of it, then I'm okay with it. But if it's all the centralized entities, the banks, the wealthy, the government, and less in the hands of the people, then I don't like that, right? Because the whole point of Bitcoin and what it was intended for, and why it was thought up in the first place, is kind of being lost in today's world. I'm still excited for Bitcoin to continue to grow, but I think the original, the whole reason why Satoshi took his name off the paper when the FBI started ringing up trying to get them to meet is exactly this, the world that we're in. But if you want the price to appreciate, then we need the rest of the world to adopt and accumulate Bitcoin. That's just the way it is. So what do you want? Do you want Bitcoin to not be held by any centralized entities at all and just the people? And we can only keep this sucker, in the 100,000 range, or only a couple tens of thousands, and we just trade amongst ourselves and we decide what the price is, right? By doing that trading and that demand, or we let the rest of the world get involved and we see Bitcoin aspire to, $1 million one day. That's a debate, that maybe we should have amongst our peers one day. Maybe I'll invite some of you guys up via Discord and we'll have a discussion. We'll talk about it. But yeah, so basically they're saying when a crash does happen in the future, it's going to be a forest fire. As Wall Street and everybody is getting involved, hoovering up as much Bitcoin as possible. Rogue police going around destroying Bitcoin ATMs. U.S. law enforcement officials use brute force to seize cash from Bitcoin ATMs, are overstepping their authority and may be violating the law, says Bitcoin Depot Chris Ryan. Ryan told Decrypt that the funds police may seize rightfully belong to Atlanta, Georgia-based provider of Bitcoin ATMs, and they are liable for damages to the machine, even as they try to return large sums to the consumers who say they've been scammed. You've got the rogue law enforcement officers thinking that they're doing the right things by these consumers. What they're actually doing is creating another victim, which is us, with the damage of our property and seizing of funds. Last week, authorities in Texas used power tools to retrieve $32,000 from Bitcoin Depot kiosk. Because law enforcement cut into the actual body of the kiosk, the machine will have to be completely replaced, according to Bitcoin Depot. A Bitcoin Depot kiosk costs about $14,000 under the profit-sharing program. And in most cases where cops are just physically breaking in, they just total the machine. If authorities are trying to seize funds from Bitcoin Depot kiosk, the company will always unlock the machine, Buchanan said. In an event that Bitcoin Depot property is damaged, the company will request a law enforcement foot the bill, but municipals often don't have the resources to provide restitution. It's not the norm that we would get anything back. Jasper County Sheriff told Decrypt that he is not able to discuss the incident that has since become pending litigation. Scammers leveraging Bitcoin ATMs and the irreversible nature of crypto transactions to defraud people are hard-earned funds, often impersonate governments or banks in 2024. Americans lost about $247 million, through crypto kiosks and are up 31% in 2023. Once a scammer receives a victim's Bitcoin, it's difficult to recover those funds. When a customer uses Bitcoin ATM, they insert into cash, right? So you're putting your hard-earned cash into the ATM. You're getting the Bitcoin, and then you're sending that Bitcoin to the scammer. The scammer disappears, and now you're out your money and you're out, your Bitcoin. Once the transaction is complete, when the user inserts their cash, the crypto is refunded to the wallet of their choosing. That ends our involvement in transaction. What that person is signing up for, like what scam they fell for, is unfortunate, but that's on them. To have the law enforcement go and literally, cut into this ATM is unnecessary, when I'm pretty sure you could have been like, hey, Bitcoin Depot, we got a case going on. It's open litigation. Can I get you to come out and open this one ATM? We're going to obtain the funds, and then we're going to go through the legal system to properly, get the funds back for the user. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting. If anybody in Texas have seen this? Let me know. Hit me up. Hit me up on X or wherever. Ethereum chart signals altcoin season as analysts predict a 10K Ethereum price top. That would be nice. Ethereum price top of 10K. Where are we at right now? So we're at 2,400, 2425. Okay. Cool. A 10K Ethereum. That is quite a move. Let's see what that goes to. So if we measure that, that's a 320% increase. Maybe like long term. But if we look at, what is it? The BTC, right? Like ETH has been climbing relative to Bitcoin in May. It's fallen recently, right? Because Bitcoin gained some more strength this past week. But every time Bitcoin go up, the altcoins don't go up as much. Sometimes they might rise, or Bitcoin gets to the next level, chop sideways for a bit, then the altcoins rise. But yeah, Ethereum's just been behind the ball for like a long time. Like even like considering where Bitcoin was, let's say it was 69K, and now it's 100-something K. Like Ethereum should be a $4,000 asset, but it's not. It's lagging pretty significantly. Would be nice though. So people are saying that obviously ETH could hit 10K this cycle. Altcoin season index says it's prime time to accumulate lagging altcoins. So right now is what they're saying is a prime time to accumulate altcoins. Bitcoin dominance nearing 70% could trigger a full-blown alt season soon. We talked about this, right? And you can see this on CoinMarketCap and the alt season tracker. And what they're talking about is where Bitcoin hit 70, right? I think right now we're at 60-something%. So yeah. Where are we at? Yeah, so over here on the right. I don't know. I think we got a bit to go. But we'll see. And of course, the next article, Bitcoin dominance holds altcoin season at bay, right? So while we're preparing for it and we're hoping for a big rally on the altcoins, whether it's Ethereum or some other asset, Bitcoin dominance is just chopping sideways and holding, the rest of us at bay. So right now, Bitcoin dominance is at 64.9%. And what they're saying is when we hit 70, which we got close to on January 3rd, 2021, which did produce a nice little healthy, if you look here, from January, from that point right there where we almost hit 70, from January 3rd, 2021, all the way, you can see like this nice little curve for the alt season. And then we started to pull back as Bitcoin continued to rise. So could we get, Bitcoin, which is at 64%, to get to 70 and have an altcoin spectacular season? It's possible. It would be nice. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of you individuals out there that are holding altcoins that would like to see some return on that, right? Whether it's Caspa, Raven Coin, name that coin, whatever you want. I think it's certainly possible. But Bitcoin dominance is keeping it at bay. It's keeping it at bay. So we'll see how things playing out. But Bitcoin's market cap dominance has reached 65.72 with both monthly and relative strength index or RSI readings pushing above the critical 70 level. At time of analyst, the RSI on the monthly timeline stood at 73.19, while the weekly registered at 70.58, both firmly in the overbought territory. These levels typically reflect strong momentum and extended bullish conditions, indicating that Bitcoin's command over the crypto market is still strong and growing. So, yeah. As long as Bitcoin dominance holds these elevated RSI levels, across major time frames, Servino suggests that altcoins will likely continue to underperform, further delaying the long-awaited altcoin season. They also go on to emphasize the meaning of upside for altcoins will not begin until BTCD starts to wane and RSI readings fall below 70, effectively signaling a shift. So there's two different 70. When I say 70, there's the RSI 70 and then there's this 70, right? The dominance, right? So when Bitcoin dominance hits 70%, usually it starts to fall and then altcoins start to rise. But then there's another 70 as far as RSI readings. So don't get those two confused. But those are just two different indicators that you can look at. Are we getting ready for altcoin season? Is it here yet? Yada, yada, yada. So what altcoin? Let me know in the live chat or let me know in the comment section down below. What altcoin would you like to see take off? If you could name one coin, what coin would you like to see take off? Whether it's for you to be able to take profits, for you to cash out and get what your investment was. What altcoin do you want to see pop off? Moving on, we got some information from Ripple here, but my ad blocker is messing it up. So let's see if I can do that. Ripple to drop cross appeal against the SEC and crypto lawsuit. I think a judge rebuffed them the other day. So I think they're now withdrawing their cross appeal, which is a legal battle between the SEC and Ripple. Ripple says that we're closing a chapter on this once and for all, says Brad Garlinghouse, and the SEC was also expected to drop its appeal. The move could bring dispute closer to a resolution after years of back and forth between the company and the regulator over the token status as a security. The SEC has sued Ripple for allegedly violating securities laws through the sale of XRP tokens. In 2023, a judge ruled that XRP sales on public exchanges were legal, but in the 728 million sales of institutional investors broke the rules. Both sides appealed, but later agreed to settle if the judge set aside her injunction and approved lowering by 125 million fine had imposed on Ripple. However, the judge rejected their request on Thursday. The SEC declined to comment. So still in the final like tat for tat stage, but things are coming down to a close. Sam Fisher says, can't wait for Cardano to hit $1 again. That would be nice. If we look at Cardano right now, it's still in the top 10, but it's fallen quite a bit. Because I remember it was like up there with Solana and stuff like that. So Cardano's losing some steam. If we look at the all chart, you know, yeah, it's above where it used to be. Remember, Cardano used to be pennies. It's sub pennies in the early days. Right? Hit an all-time high of almost $3, $2.91. We're at 56 cents right now. Can you imagine if Cardano hit $1? What that would mean for you? But you also take a look at the volume. If you look at the volume here, right, that big chunk in 2021, 2022 is no longer prevalent in today's. Like we have a little bit in early 2025 or late 2024, early 2025, but it's since died down. But that definitely would be nice. XRP price saw month-long 420% rally the last time this metric turned green. So they're talking about a specific metric, and it's a 90-day moving average of whales flows turned positive in May, hinting a renewed interest in potential breakout setup for Q4. Wallets holding over 1 million XRP hit an all-time high, while mid-tier wallet growth rose 6.2%, signaling a strong long-term holder conviction, right? HODL gang on the XRP side. I don't have a large position in XRP. I have barely anything in XRP. I don't really like XRP, but I know a lot of people do, and I know in like last year, a lot of you guys got into XRP and did well. So congratulations to you if you're still hodling or you took profits or whatever you got. But after peaking at the all-time high at $3.40 in January, XRP has shown modest returns on investment over the past several months, despite consistently closing every monthly candle above the $2 mark since December 2024. XRP's Q2 trading volume on Binance has fallen to the lowest levels since August 2020, reflecting a decline in market participation, right? We're losing gas. But recent data from CryptoQuant suggests that the whale addresses could be positioning themselves for an imminent breakout. Notably, XRP's 90-day moving average whale flows shifted to positive territory at the beginning of May, a reversal from the sharply negative flows observed between January and April. All right, talking about this chart where you can see the green over here on the right. So basically, long story short, and I'm gonna wrap up the stream early, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you let me know in the live chat. Or send a super chat. I miss Dan. I'm just gonna say that out loud. But yeah, whales gobbling up, getting ready for some sort of breakout. When that breakout's gonna happen, nobody can tell you the exact date, but they're looking at Q4 2025. Even though the past several months of there was price stagnation, and the persistent growth and large-scale accumulation underscores the robust long-term investor confidence in XRP. Meanwhile, data analytics platform Sentiment pointing out that XRP sentiment has reached a 17-day high, fueled by the stalled $50 million settlement between Ripple and XRP. The development contradicts the waning optimism surrounding Bitcoin and Ether, which have reduced retail's interest on crypto market moves sideways. So yeah, so it's still overhanging. Still got to get finalized, but maybe that would be the catalyst. I guess that's what they're hoping for, is the catalyst for XRP to move higher. I really think it's going to be multiple variables that's going to be impacting it, right? So Bitcoin dominance, 70 hits 70, starts to come back. We start to see an alt season arise. The SEC and XRP finally settle their thing. Fed cuts rate, and it's like, boom, catalyst, right? You got multiple factors, variables, whatever, that takes it off, and then altcoin season, here we come. Will Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, and others have a crypto ETF? We've been talking about this for weeks now. We talked about all the various ETFs. I don't know why there's going to be a Pengu ETF. I really don't care. Can I vote no? Yes. Oh, it's not available in your country. Get out of here. But yeah, there was a chart showing all the various ETFs and stuff like that. Are we getting closer? Yes. How long is it? It's probably going to be a minute. Maybe end of 2025 for some, 2026 for others, right? Talking more like ETF for Solana, ETF for XRP, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and then everything else that they were talking about, because Avalanche, Pengu, whatever, is probably not going to happen for a bit. But the percentage is still the same. 90% probable that we'll have an ETS for Dogecoin, Solana, XRP. Maybe more Dogecoin than Litecoin, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see. Moving on, mortgages, right? It's in the title. U.S. mortgage regulator orders Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to consider crypto for mortgages, right? So now these mortgage companies are accumulating crypto assets, kind of like a treasury, to prop up their shit in case they fuck up, because they always fuck up. So the U.S. Federal Housing Financial Agency has ordered some mortgage purchasers, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to consider how to count cryptocurrencies as assets and their risk assessments for some home loans. Wednesday, prepare a proposal for consideration of cryptocurrency as an asset for reserves and their respective single-family mortgage loan risk assets without conversion of said currency to U.S. dollars. The order means that the two GSEs, which are government-sponsored enterprises, could consider potential borrowers' crypto holdings when they apply for a mortgage. So I want to apply for a mortgage. I want to use my crypto as, collateral, funding, whatever, right? It hasn't been considered before, and a mortgage risk assessment without first converting to the crypto to U.S. dollars. The FHFA has overseen Fannie Mae or the Federal National Mortgage Association and Freddie Mac since 2008, when both institutions were placed under government conservatorship, right, because of the financial crisis. Here's what's funny. What caused the 2008 financial crisis was mortgage-backed loans, right? Fractional share loans of mortgages by Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac, stupid other banks. is what caused Bitcoin to be born. Now we're turning around and telling these organizations that are under government's control to get your shit together and to consider crypto, the thing you caused to be born, to be a part of their consideration when, you know, looking at a single home mortgage and stuff like that. To me, that's just full circle. I could be wrong. You let me know what your thoughts are. But anyways, both those companies played a critical role in the U.S. housing market since subprime mortgage crisis. Subprime mortgage, that's what I meant to say. Providing liquidity and stability to purchasing mortgages from lenders, which enables lenders to issue more loans. Paul said on X that a decision to include cryptocurrencies as part of the mortgage risk assessment came after significant studying aligns with DJT's goals to make U.S. the crypto capital of the world. I guess here is the study. It's a letter that said the two enterprises should only consider cryptocurrencies that can be evidenced and stored on a U.S. regulated centralized exchange subject to all applicable laws. So it wouldn't be like some shit coin that you can only store on your Tangent, or only store on your OneKey, or only store on your fucking SafePal. Like, it needs to be a coin that's available and storable on a U.S. based centralized exchange, right? And we know Coinbase is working with the U.S. government. We know Kraken is working with the U.S. government. We know Binance is not, or Binance US. So it would have to be a certain handful, maybe Gemini, because you know the twins like to be all up in that shit. But we'll see. But crypto is gaining acceptance as mainstream collateral in the United States. So to have that and be like, hey, I only have $10,000 in fiat that I can throw down on this mortgage, right? But what if you could take my $50,000 in crypto assets that are supported at a centralized exchange as a consideration? How would that help out my loan, my monthly payment, my APR? I mean, that's kind of interesting. I'm not a mortgage expert by any means, but I just thought that was interesting. So let me know what you think. JP Morgan is planning to allow select wealth management clients to use crypto-based products such as Bitcoin, ETS as collateral for financing. It's, you know, mortgages and more. The DJT administration moves to count crypto as a federal mortgage asset. We just talked about this. I think this is pretty cool. It's a 1 minute, 25-second clip. I would like to play for you guys if I could. And the last one is stablecoins go mainstream. Why banks and credit card firms are issuing their own crypto tokens. But before we do that, Red Panda Mining is going live in about 10 minutes. I do need to get out of here though. I might leave a little bit early before Red is available. Because like I said, I gotta go see two of my boys at their shop to just make some final adjustments and stuff like that. Alignment. I'm gonna throw it up on a DynoJet. To do some comparison. I already got one pool on a Hub Dyno. I want to get another pool on a DynoJet, see how the data lines up, talk to my boy down south. So things are happening. I'm going to continue to put out content. I know I've been putting out automotive content. I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's a little bit different. Crypto tech is always going to be the main thing, but I'm going to continue to make both because it's my channel and I'm really not doing this to retire from my job and make enough money off of YouTube. While that would be nice, I would have to change my whole demeanor and whole everything. I'm just making videos because I want to make videos and because I want to share something cool with you guys, or maybe a helpful tip or guide with you guys. Much of my videos that get a lot of views are the ones like, hey, my Asus G16 laptop, you know, after waking up from sleep is overheating because Asus sucks. Or there's an Nvidia driver problem, or, you know, hey, this GPU does this weird glitch or this weird issue. Here's how you fix it. Like stuff like that. Those are what do the best. Even some of my automotive videos on like how to, you know, if you're burning oil, you know, the cheapest fix is check the PCV valve. You know, is it still working? Is it not working? Yada, 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 so on and so forth. So I'm going to continue to make content. I would appreciate, even if you don't watch the full video, just swing through, hit the like button, sit on it for 30 seconds and then move on. Otherwise, please check out the content, share it with anybody that you think might like it, and then kind of go from there. But Red Panda's coming on live here in a little bit. As far as crypto goes, keep stacking them sats, man. Keep stacking them sats. Keep grinding. Keep accumulating. I'm still grinding, right? GPUs, FPGAs, ASICs, micro miners, lottery miners. I'm still grinding in the heat of Florida. It's been really hot. I know some of you guys up north are like, what the hell? Because it's been a lot warmer than normal. But the sun's at a solar maximum right now. Climate change is real. If you don't think it's real, you're fucking stupid. Not that you're fucking stupid. I'm sorry, that was disrespectful. Climate change is being impacted because of us humans and the way we live in the past, especially during the industrial era. The data is there. If you don't believe it, that's fine. Let's not argue about it. But either way, it is impacting the world, and we need to be conscious of that. Moving on from that, just keep grinding. Hopefully, you guys one day, I want to hear that you retired. I want to hear that you made enough money off of the next altcoin season, the next bull market, the next Bitcoin, all-time high, that you were able to retire, get the boat you wanted, the car you wanted. You were able to marry the woman of your dreams. You were able to go on a trip that was life-changing. I want you guys to succeed, and I wish and pray for that for all of you. So stay positive, keep grinding, keep at it. We'll see how things go. Let's watch this clip real quick about the housing, mortgage asset and considering crypto as part of that assessment. And then I'll let you guys head over to Red Panda Mining. But if you do leave early, please do me a favor, hit that like button, get subscribed, hit notification bell to stay up to date. So let's check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And I'll catch you later. But I'm going to hang out for a little bit more and then get out of here.
We'll go to Washington. Diana Olick has that for us. Hey, Di.
Hey, Scott. Yeah, this is from the FHFA director, Bill Pulte. He is the conservator of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He just posted on X, after significant studying and in keeping with President Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, today I ordered the great Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare their businesses to count cryptocurrency as an asset for a mortgage. Interesting, in the note, he then has a release from the FHFA, whereas cryptocurrency is an emerging asset class that may offer an opportunity to build wealth outside of the stock market and bond markets. Cryptocurrency has not typically been considered in the mortgage risk assessment process for the mortgage from mortgage loans delivered to the enterprises without converting that cryptocurrency into dollars. So he is now, this is not happening immediately, but he is directing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare proposals for consideration of crypto as an asset for reserves in their respective single-family mortgage loan risk assessments. So that means that your crypto can back your mortgages. Now, this is an interesting play because there is actually a startup company called Milo, which already does this, and it's been slowly moving into the mortgage market in that way. Some people buy and sell in crypto on their own. But for Fannie and Freddie to use crypto as a backstop for their mortgages, that's going to be interesting going forward, as we know how volatile crypto can be.
Right. Especially the volatility, right? That's definitely going to be interesting. All right. Where is Red Panda getting ready to go live? Is the question I have for everybody. Nope, not yet. All right, so let's mute this tab. Let's play this next video. Questions, comments, concerns?
Finally be going mainstream, spurred in part by the billion-dollar public debut of Circle, the issuer of stablecoin USDC, and the passage of the stablecoin legislation drafted by the Senate, dubbed the Genius Act.
The yeas are 68, the nays are 30. The bill as amended is passed.
Big finance players are getting in on the action.
Coinbase, which earns half of the revenue generated by USDC, launched...
Dude, I got to talk to this lady. Mackenzie is awesome. I love her. She's great. What was the other guy's name? Crypto Mikkel. We talked to him for a minute. He's really cool beans. Like, he's cool as hell. Oh, why did I forget his name? Joseph? Seth? Oh, I can't remember. Works with Mackenzie, though. Really cool people.
A new partnership with payment platform Stripe and e-commerce giant Shopify to bring USDC payments to merchants around the world.
JP Morgan announced its own stablecoin-like product called JPND. Payments firm Fiserv announced a stablecoin to pair with the 90 billion transactions that it processes every year.
And even Walmart and Amazon are reportedly looking into their own tokens. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says
I personally think that's going to be too many stable coins. That's too many stable coins. Just adopt and utilize USDC or USDT on whatever chain you want to use. Like Algorand is cheap, Solana is cheap. USDC on Ethereum can be very expensive with fees and everything. Instead of everybody making their own fucking stable coin, just use what's already there and it's working. You could see Circle, when it created its IPO, blew up. It's still doing good. If you invested in that Circle stock early, then you're doing good. You're up pretty well right now. And, even though the crypto market might have a bear market in the future and Circle might be impacted by that bear market, I believe that Circle and even Coinbase stock will continue to grow. So just chill out. This is my message to the corporations out there that are all thinking about making their own stable coin, Target coin, Walmart coin, whatever. Like, stop. Just stop, right? Like, we don't need all these stable coins, right? Because if you build the stable coin wrong and that shit depegs, like we've seen with Terra, right? Or FTX or whatever, because of a hack or negligence on your part, smart contract building failures, that can hurt you. And by the way, if you do need an audit of a smart contract, Yeti Audits is still an active website. It just hasn't had anything published. But feel free to hit up Yeti and ask them for a quote. And, it will help fund me and my household to do an audit. The automation aspect of it hit a snag. So it's all line by line, code adjusted, or recommendations provided, stuff like that. So if you need a smart contract audit, hit us up. We'll send you a quote. Questions will be asked. You need to be able to answer those questions. If you don't know how to answer those questions, then you need to get yourself a proper developer.
The launch of these dollar peg stablecoins could unlock a $2 trillion market.
We are a payments company, and we saw the potential of this technology to bring the next generation of payment rails. We didn't know whether it was going to play out or not, but it was absolutely too important for a payments company not to have a horse in the race.
Cards were this whole new money movement platform that were created many decades ago, and they've created trillions of new economic value, and we think that stablecoins will do the same.
But there are some who believe that these products aren't ready for prime time. Crypto is still fending off an industry-wide reckoning. There are concerns that the rise of stablecoins risk the financial system's stability, and these digital dollars lock consumers out of lucrative interest payments because stablecoins aren't allowed to pay yield. So why are some of the biggest companies in the world going all in on their own crypto tokens? Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that aim to do exactly what their name suggests: remain stable. Unlike Bitcoin, which garners investor attention for its huge up and downside, or NFTs, which often rise in price based on hype alone, stablecoins are pegged to the price of another asset. And in many cases, that's the US dollar.
That digital representation of a dollar, you can move around between two different wallets, two different entities, two different businesses in any jurisdiction.
I just posted the video in the live chat for you guys to go listen later because I got to get going. But it's a pretty good listen. All right. It's a pretty good listen. Red Panda is not live yet, but I'm going to send you guys over there. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah. All right. Take care of yourself. Driver's Error, Vintra, Ron got their own shop. Go support the boys. Your Donut Media's like team, like James Humphrey, Speed. I love these guys. They're all good people. If you meet them in person, you'll see that for yourself. But anyways, go have yourself a good day. I'll see y'all later. All right? Take care. What's a good coin to buy? Bitcoin, MG. Bitcoin is a good coin to buy. Bitcoin, Solana. I was going to say Cardano, but Bitcoin and Solana are my top two right now.